So the world's an interesting place. I subscribe to the theory that everybody thinks that the past was always better. The current world is the craziest it's ever been. It's never been more divided. All of these things that I think people said 100 years ago and 100 years before that they said it. People just are framing with what they currently see. Hello and welcome to the FasterFreedom Show. My name is Sam.
And I'm not Lucas.
This is not Lucas. That's what we're going to call him today. Do you want to go by anything other than not Lucas, or would you prefer to go by that?
Not Lucas is fine.
We're going to call you Shane, and we're going to call you Birthday Boy. It is Shane's 21st birthday today. Everybody listening, give him a clap. We decided to have a fun little birthday episode for Shane. He has in his hand a Pepsi that is pretending to look like a Bud Light, but it is a Pepsi, so he is going to sip on a Pepsi while we talk today. I'm going to talk about a Gen Zer. So he's 21 years old, born in 2003. Yep. That was my first year of high school. So we're going to be talking about getting inside the head of a high-level Gen Zer, because Shane and T. York and Jaden, a few of these Gen Zers we have around the office are pretty high level. So if you're interested what the next generation thinks about issues and politics and a lot of different things, then you are in the right spot, because that's what we're going to dig into today. So if you have somebody you know is a Gen Z or you're a Gen Zer, you're probably going to get some good insight today. So Shane, a little bit about yourself and what you do. Don't screw this up.
Absolutely.
A lot of pressure.
My name is Shane Henke. I am currently the Community Success Manager at FasterFreedom. Recently, I've also started taking on a little bit of a copywriting / podcast producing role, and that's what I'll be transitioning to here shortly, but currently I'm still doing quasi customer service and making sure everybody's happy.
Yep, I think you just do a little bit of both, I would say. I would say a good chunk of your time spent on the podcast. So you didn't graduate high school that long ago, but what have you been doing since high school as far as, school, work, whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I hit the jackpot with COVID.
Okay.
My senior year, I was actually able to take virtually. So I was able to volunteer at my church, get a job at a bank, and do high school all at the same time, which is a fantastic learning experience for me. I transitioned away from the bank after a year and 4 months, went to Applebee's. I worked every position in the front of house except for bartending because I wasn't old enough. And then after about a year of that, I've transitioned to getting on the team here at FasterFreedom.
So I know that you're a job here. You've done very well. You're getting ready to kind of move up to a higher level position here soon once we backfill your position. But you have bigger goals and aspirations at that. Talk a little bit about, your entrepreneurial gene that you seem to have in that frame.
Yeah, absolutely. So years ago, I'd come home from school and there was this PBS show called Biz Kids. And looking back, it was a really ridiculous show, but it was just like the principles of business, like making more than what your expenses are, how to budget, really
some people listening finance. Should probably watch that, honestly.
It may be beneficial to go back. I think the website's still up, but yeah, PBS show, kind of caught the business bug doing that. I wanted to be in software for a while. I thought programming was where I was gonna land. I really looked up to Sergey Brin, Larry Page. Those are the founders of Google. Mark Zuckerberg had a book, They Were Rich. I wanted to be that way. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I looked up to. Since then, I realized I like the operations side more than the creative side. That's just what I like doing. I like solving problems, implementing systems, making the back end run. So I think that's kind of what drives me in the entrepreneurial side. But I like the idea of the freedom and the solving problems for people. I really enjoy that.
So speaking of college, why did you decide not to go to college? And I know neither did Tyler, who started. Do you think, so two-parter, one, why didn't you go to college? And two, do you think it's more of a trend in your generation to not go to college than maybe millennials or before?
Yeah, so I did get my associate's degree.
Okay.
I had 2 free years with Missouri's A+ program, mm-hmm. but after that I didn't want to pursue further education.
Your 4-year, okay.
And the reason I did that was because I feel like the education, real-world implementation is more applicable, more enticing to employers than the college degree. Like, the college degree shows you can stick to something for 4 years.
And party a little bit.
And party a little bit on the side, balance those two.
Mm-hmm.
And that just wasn't me. So I thought, let's get the education that's free, take advantage of it since I have it. Let's get some real world experience. I don't think it's a trend yet. I think it's kind of like
you're just a one-offer, huh?
Well, I don't think I'm a one-off, but I think society is still pushing people my age to college. Like my younger brother is considering Mizzou right now just because that's what you do. So I don't think that's going away completely. I think it may wane here in the future, but I think college is still going to be societal norm for a while.
Yeah, and T. York's looking up some stuff. I don't know if he's looking up or not, but I would assume, just from not looking at the stats, but I would guess that less and less people are going to college. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think it's like drastic, but I think it's more acceptable for somebody to hire somebody without a college degree now than it was in a long time, but I could be wrong. All right, so that kind of framing the question, it is the world obviously is changing rapidly with technology. So what are some things that are going on right now that you're one of the, I think that, what do they call you? You're one of the first or the first generation that grew up completely on the internet. Like that, it's been part of your, since you were in preschool to high school to middle, like it's been part of your the whole time. It wasn't for me, and it wasn't for a lot of people. So what do you see? What are some trends that you see that you think are interesting?
I think it's interesting that we have so much access to information. We were talking about it over lunch that I was consuming a lot of content, news content, political content, and that
we're getting to politics here in a minute. You don't worry, it's right there.
We've got a lot of people saying that the world is on fire. It's never going to be the same. We're really in trouble, and I think it's something that I've been able to mature recently, realizing that that's not the case. The world is not burning down. It's not on fire. You don't have to worry or be a prepper. If you want to be, that's fine, but not everybody has to be concerned.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of the thing that's stuck out to me most recently is
it's not the world's not ending. Everything's okay. The gain from people getting those videos and views. Like when I was born, you could smoke cigarettes on a plane. Like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't that long ago that women drank and smoked when they were pregnant because nobody knew, and they didn't think cigarettes were bad not that long ago. And just everything, we live in a pretty good world. Everybody pretends that it's not, but everything is much more achievable now. Used to, you can get anything delivered to your door now. So we live in a pretty good world. People just like painting that picture isn't as consumable or monetizable as painting the picture that the world's ending. There was not that long ago, people in elementary school used to do nuclear missile drills and go underneath their desk. Like, how scary would that be? If we were doing that right now, how many TikTok videos would be about this 10-year-old going underneath his desk because the nuclear bomb drill? So anyways, it's I agree with that sentiment that you are realizing right now. So how do you approach like self-development? I feel like for a while it was the older generation was, the men wouldn't talk, men weren't vulnerable. I feel like as the generations go, I know like dads today are much more involved than dads 50 years ago. So kind of weird way to ask it, but how do you look at like the self-development and self-growth as you start to get a little bit older? You're still young.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with looking at people you want to be like and trying to model after them. The leadership here is reading Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, and I listened to that on audiobook. Something that really stuck out to me was the blueprints that we inherit from our parents or the blueprints that we create that are directly opposed to the parents. And I think both of those are dangerous if you just stick to them just because it is the way that it is. You've got to forge that path for yourself. So I'm going through a learning period of what do I want? What does that look like? Who can I model after?
Yeah, it's one of those things where we talk a lot about trying to reinvent the wheel or trying to come up with something that is potentially doable, but you're working a lot harder than you need to be potentially. So I agree. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this is Men's Mental Health Month, along with a few other things going on this month. So how does your generation look at mental health? Because I know we're big on it here, and even in our generation, I feel like we're on the forefront of it as far as being a millennial. But mental health, men's mental health too, but mental health in general used to kind of be taboo, and I feel like it's becoming more mainstream. What is your generation, as a spokesperson for all of Gen Zers, what is your take on mental health and the importance of it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we've waited so long to make it a priority. I don't know if it's in balance. I guess I should say mental health days seem a little weird to me. I don't put a lot of emphasis on it for myself personally, so I may not be the best person to speak on it, but I think from a perspective that I do have, I think it's positive that we're focusing on the individual a little bit more. I think it's a problem that needs to be addressed. If people are not feeling comfortable, if they're not feeling included, they don't value themselves, I think that's a problem. And I think that's something that we're noticing more, maybe because of the communication deficit based on technology. We're not having the face-to-face conversations, being vulnerable with people. I think that would do a lot of good for the mental health scene and environment. But I think the stretches and the strides that we are making are positive.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, comment with something you learned, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. We give away more free advice on how to create wealth based on things we actually do every single day than any other channel on YouTube. Make sure to share this with a friend because our mission is to inspire you to think differently about freedom.